Now I know Cartoon hasn't exactly played a bunch of SM64 vanilla, but he has been playing the ROM hacks, so I imagine his movement's still pretty solid.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle.
Well, interesting to see how his
Princess
run pans out, being back on vanilla though.
Yeah, it could definitely be hard to come back to a certain category when you haven't played it for a while.
Absolutely.
Even if it's like, basically the same game.
Yep, the Cartoon giving us a bit of a heart with his hands there, showing love to the audience.
Also interesting, I think Cartoon is using English because his intro is a couple seconds slower.
That would appear so.
And yeah, VonJim is using Japanese.
Yep. Very rare we see both of the same copies going on. Usually it's one and the other.
Both runners getting up to skip pretty successfully. Cartoon doing the LBOJ, VonJim sticking with the no LBOJ, so it's going to be a pretty big route difference if Cartoon can get this. He is out of bounds. Just has to go up the stairs, and he's in Donkey World.
That was a pretty clean LBLJ as well.
Yeah, 126 is pretty decent. Whoa. Oh, okay. Jim's gameplay slow down for a sec. So yeah, as Jim is gonna enter Womps here, we see Cartoon grabbing the red coins in Dark World. So yeah,
I'm not sure if that was a backup or if that's what his actual movement is, but he opted to go for a jump dive instead of.
Oh my god.
Instead of going for the long jump through the fence there and getting fence clips, so. Very interesting. Looking like getting a fourth frame and a second frame wall kick there.
Jim's gonna go for Alice right here.
And dive into the cage. That's new. I've never seen that.
Yeah, new ledge clip. Oh, misses again.
Can he get it this time? No.
Oh.
Opted to just go for cannonless at this point, going for the texture setup. Getting the texture setup at least. And Cartoon finishing up Bowser in a pretty decent amount of time there with a 350 or 258, I believe. So very solid.
May not look like it, but yeah, Cartoon does have a pretty sizable lead with the LBLJ and
let's mess up. I'm
pretty quick Bowser.
I guess the only way to gauge this really, because it's so early on and we're able to, is probably about 50 seconds.
Yeah, Jim thankfully getting all this.
Cartoon getting a very clean Howless there.
Yeah. That's definitely gonna save some time over Jim.
Oh yeah.
Now we're gonna see a class from Cartoon here. He's gonna go for salt.
And getting it. Wow. I think he's been playing this more than I had thought.
Yeah. That setup looked pretty weird, but definitely worked out.
I was gonna say, if it works, we don't complain, right?
Yeah, true.
Oh, VonJim getting yeeted by the Swamp King there. Some interesting stuff that you don't see too often. CartoonBuffoon is going for the side flip wild blue instead of a single jump, though.
Yeah, a pretty solid exit with 40 jumps. That's pretty good for LBLJ.
Oh, absolutely. This is a really good run from Cartoon here.
Yeah.
VonJim looking like he's cleaning up a little bit better here. He's not having too much troubles with the rest of these stars. I say that he's going up to the tower, which can be scary. Not too much trouble though. Pretty hard to miss that star once you get to the top of it. So.
Pretty curious what Cartoon's gonna do right here in SSL. So
I can
looks
see
like
a
he's
Tomo
doing
plus,
stuff.
honestly.
Yeah. That is.
Nope.
That's not gonna work. Yeah, that's a small one. Unless.
Well, no, I could.
Oh.
Ooh. I was gonna say it could still work if he gets onto that ledge there. It's very possible, but.
Yeah, I don't really know much about plus myself. I do know like it's really hard to get it with the
I
medium
watch
ball.
way too much 70 star. Ooh.
And misses at the bomb again, so probably gonna back it up with a Shining or Talon here. Does do the Talon backup.
Yeah,
Misses
saw
it though.
that coming. He was up a little bit too early there. Now, thankfully, because of Jim's little owless meltdown, Cartoon can make these mistakes. Cartoon having a small meltdown on webcam there. I think he's just putting it on a show for us, though. So, Cartoon has always had that great personality that you love to see, and seems like Jim's really zoned in right now and focused on the run.
And this blast does look like it's gonna work. This has to get this pyramid, clip in, and that's good.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I believe that was actually large bomb as well. So,
Yeah, it was.
very, very hard to mess up plus unless you don't know how to do it. If you get to the pyramid and you're pretty comfortable with plus, it's pretty hard to miss with a large bomb. So.
Yep, and Jim is just about to enter Dark World as Cartoon is about to get his last start.
Yep, heading into Lethal Loveland for a quick 4 stars. I'm interested to see what stars he's going to get. I'd imagine Side Hop and Reds, and it's either going to be Elevator or Lava Boost. And then obviously Bully. So.
Yeah.
Which one's faster? Is Elevator faster than Bully? Or is Bully faster than Elevator?
I honestly have no clue. I'm not really too familiar with the LVLJ.
Alright.
Ooh, scary cycle for Jim.
That definitely
doesn't
kept me
die.
on my toes there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Very, very spooky. Getting a very nice side hop from a Cartoon there. You always love to see it. And let's see here. Jim getting one throw down out of the 5 total he needs to make in the run.
And Cartoon is about to enter the volcano, so we're gonna see what star he gets here.
And looking
And
like
it's gonna be
Elevator. And based on his camera angle of when he enters again, we'll decide whether he's go for Lava Boost or Bully. Because I still don't know which one's faster. Chad's saying Bully is faster, so looks like he doesn't quite know Pro Lava Boost, so he gets Elevator instead. Yeah, he is going for Bully. Ooh.
Gonna take another boot, lava hit there. Does get the Bully down though.
This long jump is it always scares me every time.
Oh yeah, those platforms can be really weird.
Because you can't see where you're landing at that exact moment, so it's just like, yeah, it can be pretty nerve-wracking sometimes to see it done. But Cartoon, very significant lead here, already entering HMC.
Yeah. We're not gonna be able to tell who's exactly in the lead up until someone exits HMC, but it's just gonna look like Cartoon's gonna be in the solid lead.
Yeah. And getting the triple box jump, this is probably the biggest tell because Jim here goes for Dark World Reds, so he'll be getting 3 stars in, and that would be the star he would be missing. So Buffoon is very much so in the lead here.
Yeah. Curious if Jim is gonna go for a side hop here.
Nope, Reds.
Okay. Unless he's gonna do like side hop last, like a psychopath or something. I'm actually not sure what you would do.
I don't see him going for
would
side
be.
hop here because he did do Dark World Reds, so
Yeah. I was thinking maybe he would like replace Rolling Rocks.
maybe. Nope.
No, just gonna go take FMC.
Going for a pretty standard no LBLJ route here. Playing it safe, which can't really blame him too much.
So yeah, now we can pretty much tell Cartoon's going to be going to HMC with 14 stars, and Jim is going to be going to HMC with 13. So about a star difference, which is pretty significant in this category.
Yeah, especially entering HMC, some of the longer stars in this category, of course. They're short, but they're long at the same time. I don't know, it's confusing.
Yeah. Let's see Cartoon's Mips grabbing skills. Does grab
Gets
him
a
with the dive.
pretty clean one there. You love to see it.
Oh, that's a pretty unfortunate Mips position, so he's probably gonna have to clip back in, yeah. Yeah, if you're just like barely getting to the wrong position, then Mips is gonna be in like a weird spot where you can't grab him from the door.
Yeah, it just becomes a pain. Does get the wall kick though.
Let's see, Jim's okay, he does grab it.
Yeah.
I was expecting it as his profile picture was a Mario grabbing Mips. Did expect some good Mips grabbing skills, was not disappointed.
No. Hopefully we can see some solid Mips clip here from Jim. Well, it's not the clip, that's just the movement, so we'll let that slide. And looking like going for the... Oh my gosh,
Okay, that
that
was pretty
is
scary.
scary. Oh,
Yeah,
he
the
is...
worst thing that could happen in the whole run is getting Mips in the stuck in the door, or like on the other side of the door.
By Jim just entering Dire Docks as CartoonBuffoon was leaving it. So, about a 40-second lead here for Cartoon, which is expected because of the PB difference here. Yeah, and imagine we'd be... Ooh. No.
Yeah, gonna be missing foliage here. I don't know if
Probably missing Zero Cycle at this point.
Yeah.
Definitely missing Zero Cycle.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate because this run looked like pretty good for Cartoon. There weren't really, I mean, actually besides Plus, Diablo Plus, but other than that, pretty solid run for Cartoon here.
Absolutely, and Jim picking it up. Not very many mistakes from him either. Both these runners playing pretty consistent in the end game here, so.
But once again, anything could happen. You do have BLJs and bits left, which could change the entire race, as we've seen multiple times.
Yep. And it's looking like missing the wall kicks there. Probably missed Zero Cycle from Jim as well. Yep, the elevators are coming back down. He's not going to have time to get up there.
So 2 Zero Cycles so far, and 2 missed Zero Cycles.
But Cartoon finishing up Fire C here. Jim following shortly behind. Oh my gosh, this is scary.
Take the heart, please.
Does get the heart in the end there, so.
Cartoon taking the laggy ground pound. Hate to see it.
But this is a pretty big decider here. Is a BLJs.
Good angle, but not gonna get the catch first run. Ooh, second try. Okay, we take
Very,
it.
very nice as well.
Yeah. Although we have seen some troubles with this endless BLJ specifically.
That is true. Looking like
It does
not
look
too
like
much
we
trouble.
can.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh! Does
I,
get the speed and can do the backup when not clipping properly or clipping into the wall of the loop.
yeah, getting stuck in the wall is really weird.
Yeah. And I'm unsure if it's the wall hitbox itself or if it's the loop that you go through.
I actually never
Endless
thought about
staircase.
that. It could probably be like the loop itself, but maybe it's like the stairs. Maybe they have like some sort of collision.
Yeah. CartoonBuffoon taking the safe route here. Can't really blame him. Probably just wanted to finish off this run with little to no issues here. Or maybe he doesn't know how to do
And
left or right side.
Jim is
So.
gonna get a second try as well. So pretty decent 50-star BLJ for him.
Yep. The endless staircase. Let's see here. Does he get just as clean? Oh my
Oh, the
gosh!
first hack. You love to see it.
Yeah, always love seeing that. It's so satisfying and it's always exciting to watch. But Cartoon here looking like he's about to close out the run. He can miss quite a significant amount of throws and still win this race. So
Yeah, Cartoon, if he gets these throws, he's going to be looking at a low 17 time as he lands the last throw perfectly.
yeah, I believe this will be a 1707 or 1708.
A very solid run for Cartoon, especially considering the mistakes in SSL and Fire
So
Speed.
1707 for CartoonBuffoon here. And I could see Jim just finishing out his run as he's really close to the end here and wasn't too far behind his opponent. So
Yeah, Jim had a pretty solid run as well, especially for Null BLJ.
yeah, playing really, really close to his PB. Both of these runners here. Ooh.
Aw.
Jim missing the safe strat there.
I love when
Little,
runners half off their mistakes like he did in that.
Yep.
It's nice to
Ooh.
see.
Nice wall kick there. Good recovery and back up.
And finally gonna grab that pole.
Yep.
Just get that elevator skip, so just
Oh
has
my
to-
gosh, that Goomba.
Those Goombas. No
They're
mercy.
terrifying, man. Dark World Goombas and Sky Goombas are the scariest ones. Can't change
I
my
can't
mind.
tell. I can't tell you how many runs I've killed to the Dark World Goombas after the elevator.
These things are terrifying, man.
Interesting that Jim went for the side bombs rather than the one right in front of him for first throw. And he is going to land all three throws, so pretty solid ending to his run. Going to be finishing out a low 19, I believe, maybe high 18.
This will be a 1901.
Yeah. So Cartoon is going to take game one. This is the best of three. So we will have at least one more race to see.
Oh, 1902.
Yeah, going into the second race, I'm curious to see how Jim is going to play because obviously Cartoon got a very solid run with LBLJ. Wonder
Yeah.
how that's going to affect Jim's mindset.
All depends if Jim's watching or not. If he's opting to avoid stream, then I can see it not affecting him too much. But I did notice at the beginning of the run here, he did say his BPM was probably 135. He said.
Yeah, I get that, like, beginning of the race nerves. It always happens.
Absolutely.
It's weird because I feel like in runs, it's like completely opposite. Like, as you go further into the run, you start to get more nerves. But for races, I feel like most of the nerves happen at the beginning.
Yeah, it also depends on the race as well. Like if you're just racing for fun or something, there's literally no nerves, right? But as soon as you get into the tournament setting and there's something on the line, and it's single elims especially, the nerves tend to just kick right in. Like it's not even a second thought. They happen before, like 10 minutes before the race. That's when they start kicking in. You start the run, it's even worse, and then you progressively get farther into the run, and then you're just like, okay, I'm calming down, I'm calming down.
Yeah, that's basically what happens. So both runners not going to be needing a break. Just going to go straight into the second race here. Get the countdown going.
All right, countdown has happened. So within the next 10 seconds here, we will see these runners off again for what I'm hoping is not the final race. I love seeing 3 race matches. They always get me hyped up, excited, because in that third race, that's anyone's game at that point. Both runners can prove that they can win, so I always love watching that third race. But we are on the second one right now, so let's focus on that. Cartoon showing up the heart yet again. Showing his love for GSA in the chat.
And if you guys want to look at the bracket for the N64 division, I just put the command in, so you can just click on the challenge link. You could see everybody who's in the tournament.
Also, one thing you should definitely check out is the lovely command !UA, which shows our sponsor for this tournament of a $2,000 prize pool, the Urban Arts Partnership.
Yeah, they're
Definitely
a
go give
great
that
program.
Yep, definitely go give that a look and definitely check them out if that's something you're interested in.
And we do have a double Act 2 skip this race as well, so that's 4 Act 2 skips total. Love to see it.
Yep. Absolutely. Obviously, Cartoon
Cartoon going to be doing
opting.
LVLJ again.
Yep. Oh. Not getting instant long jump here, but no worries. He's still going to get the LBLJ done. There we go. The timer is currently not running, but I believe that was about a 126 enter, so. There we go.
Alright, we do have the timer running again. It's good.
Uh,
Yeah, Cartoon doing that jump dive again. So I believe that's just like one of his strats, I guess.
Yep. Even getting hit with the amp there, I believe he made shake still. So, very nice.
People make shit look so easy.
Yeah. People, it looks easy and you think it's easy, and then you go to try it and you're like, this isn't easy.
Yeah, so Jim going to be going for Alice. He did have a little bit of an Alice meltdown last race, but he does get it
Getting it first try, you love to see that. Solid start from both of these runners so far.
Cartoon missing the tail, but does get the throw. So I believe Jim's going to go for a class. He did do texture, I believe, last race, and that's what he's going to be doing again.
Here we go!
And he does get it.
does. Now, Cartoon amping himself up there. And he's now going to enter Womp's Fortress himself and collect the 3 fastest stars that you can get there.
Overall, pretty solid beginnings for these runners.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, Cartoon missing Owlus.
He's going to be
And
going for the second time.
missing
Misses
it again.
Going for the third time. Please.
Really doesn't have a choice here. He does need to get Owlus at some point, so.
Yep.
Little meltdown from Cartoon there, so. But nothing to worry about. Only missed it twice, so we'll take that. Looks like he's going for Kless now, and I imagine he's going to stick with Salt Kless.
That said, he's not
Never
gonna
mind.
do a little bit of a turnaround, so just gonna go for Sock Folder. Oh! Accidentally falling off the ledge.
I have seen that and done that.
So yeah, just gonna be doing wild blue in the back. Yeah, you could tell Cartoon's pretty frustrated with the mistakes he's made. Unlike last race.
Last race, it looked like he was having a little bit of fun with his mistakes, but this time, obviously, VonJim entering CCM while Cartoon is still. Oh, and we do see a Soul Class from Cartoon. Awesome, love to see it. But yeah, with VonJim now entering CCM already, and Cartoon was already in SSL at this time. Probably a little frustrating, especially if he's watching stream. So. Especially when this is a match point right here.
Ooh, beautiful wall kick.
Very, very beautiful. You always love seeing the pro strat there. It's always good to see get done.
Yeah, I can imagine Cartoon might be pretty nervous going to SSL here, as he did mess up a couple times last race.
Yep.
He's gonna be getting the large bomb here.
Tama.
This is a good one. No, right into the quick
dead into the center there. He had the Tama plus going. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm forgetting to jump at the bomb there. Gonna have to back it up once again. Okay, just doing the shiny backup.
Yeah, he's not gonna attempt that talent backup again, I don't think.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate run for Cartoon here. It's kind of hard to tell who's, actually in the lead, but it's probably gonna be close.
It's definitely close. If I have to make a guess, it's close. And going for a bit of a safer strat this time. Going for just regular plus and getting the big bomb though. Oh no!
Oh.
Cartoon getting very frustrated here. I cannot blame him. Very frustrating mistakes to make, especially in a race setting and especially for a tournament. Especially in the case where plus is not an easy trick. Definitely one of the harder ones to do in this route.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because when we're doing LBLJ, this is like kind of a necessity for the route. So there's not really.
The start's just too quick to replace it with anything. You kind of just got to go for it at that point.
Yep. And
especially if you know you can get it. And we've seen Buffoon get it pretty quick before, so I can't blame him for the frustration at all.
Still has to get talent here. He's going to be almost done with Dark World.
Struggling grabbing the tail there, but Cartoon now out of the harder stage of this because of plus. So I'm very
Yeah, I
interested to
wonder.
see if Cartoon's gonna go for some harder strats here.
Yeah, I wonder. I was gonna say, I wonder if like messing up Plus a bunch kind of like messed with his mindset. Maybe he's gonna like try to go for some harder strats.
Maybe thinking he's a little bit behind, which we still don't know. It's very, very hard to tell when you have 2 stars less over on Cartoon, but he's already in Lethal Lava Land. Well, VonJim has 9 stars going into basement just now.
Messes up the punch after side hop, but just get it anyway.
Yep, still pretty clean regardless.
So yeah, I wonder if he's gonna be going for Lava Boost here rather than Elevator. Did do Elevator last race, but this is a pretty different situation.
Yep, so, very interesting. If we see Lava Boost, he's still going to get the Bully because that is faster than Elevator. Looking like he's going to get Elevator and the Bully.
Yeah, I'm glad the mistakes that he made didn't really push him to like try out new tricks, because sometimes it's not really the best option.
Yep, let's grab there on the fence for VonJim here, and we're going to see a finish up in Lethal Lava Land from Cartoon here. And this race is definitely close. I think Buffoon has a small lead. Very, very small, though. Or, no. I think Jim has the lead here. Oh, I don't know. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, Jim is gonna have an extra star in here after
Jim will have the lead. He will.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, it's not a very small lead either. It's pretty decent lead here. So,
yeah, because Jim is gonna talk to Toad here, so he's gonna have 13 stars going to HMC.
yep.
Where Cartoon is just gonna get his 12th right here.
Yep, and grabbing one of the longer ones as well. So.
Yeah.
And missing up triple box jump. He cannot be making his mistakes right now. I would just opt to go for the side flip. Get over the edge.
I always forget how many like ways there are to get out of bounds in HMC.
I have them all pretty down, surprisingly. There's definitely quite a few though, so. Yep, Jim has a very, very significant lead here.
Yeah, Jim
just needing one more
run.
star, and Cartoon still needing 2, so. Yeah, Jim has a very, very large lead here. Not the greatest RNG, but if you know how to handle it, it doesn't really cost you too many seconds, so.
Jim actually on a pretty solid run. I think 11:26 for his PB is like pretty close.
Oh yeah. This is a definitely phenomenal pace from Jim here. Getting a quick Mips grab here.
I can't remember, was it Jim or Cartoon who had the Mips troubles last race?
That was Cartoon.
Oh, okay.
And this race is looking like a little bit Jim here.
I love how we just completely ignored that save from Cartoon.
I didn't even see it.
he fell down the ledge at the beginning and then managed to wall kick up. It was actually sick.
Oh, you love seeing that. Good save though. But no, Jim here on a very, very, very good run, or him at least. So he keeps this up. It's looking pretty good for him on this race here. But oh, I spoke, so we shall see.
Yeah, damn, I thought that Mips. Okay, it did work. Okay. It's weird when the Mips grab doesn't work like initially, but then you readjust.
And playing 1 second behind his PB right now. He has a 12:59 Diaradox exit, so he's playing really close to his PB right now from Jim.
If he can get a 0 cycle right here, then could see a potential PB pace.
Oh, absolutely.
Does get the pole grab. See if he can triple jump up. Nice. Yes,
He does get
definitely
the
0
triple
cycle
jump.
pace.
Getting that high dive rollout. Just need those good inputs. Triple jump. Gets it very
Nice.
cleanly. Awesome from VonJim here. He just needs to get this a long jump off the side pretty clean. In which he does.
Very good fire C from Jim here.
Very, very solid movement here.
I believe Cartoon's going to be going for pole glitch here, so we'll see if he can replicate that.
Oh,
Does get it.
He gets it. Just needs pretty decent movement here. Thankfully, because of pole glitch, he does have some leniency with it. So, ooh,
Yeah,
nice side flip there. Yeah, he's getting 0. Pretty clean as well. But VonJim here missing the throw twice. He needs to grab the tail there, otherwise he will be waiting a very long time. But this is still pretty solid here, as he's only playing about 15 seconds behind his PB, so. Yep, he is 13 seconds behind his PB, so.
Gonna need a 2:30 ending here, which is kind of tricky. You never know with these BLJs.
VonJim, I don't see PBing, but I can definitely see a very, very solid run from him, and definitely a low 18 at the very most. That is assuming everything goes wrong. Assuming everything goes right, this will just be a high 17.
See his BLJs, come on. Does get the second try catch.
Oh man. But Cartoon is right on his tail here.
Pretty much one BLJ behind.
And
as he does
one
get the
BLJ is all he needed. Both these runners are going to be on the endless staircase at the same time. VonJim having a bit of an edge. Already starting the BLJs. Gets it. He needs to get into there. And Cartoon getting it instantly. Cartoon only about 6 seconds behind his opponent right now. Absolutely insane. This is exactly what we want to see in the 16-star open.
Jim gonna have to realign his triple jump as Cartoon gets it without any alignment.
These runners
are
basically synced.
It's kind of crazy. We went from like 1 star apart in HMC now.
Okay, the edge here. Both of these runners going for left side.
Oh.
Cartoon getting it. VonJim unfortunately side flipping there. VonJim, he cannot take the safe route. He needed that left side. Cartoon has the lead here. But this is coming down to throws. Cartoon can only miss 1 throw. If he misses a second, he will lose that lead. Oh, well, now he can miss 2. But very narrowly.
Yeah,
get up there, please.
Just come down to throws, even when racers went with multiple throws ahead.
Yeah. Cartoon, one last throw is all he needs. And he will claim a victory.
And that's it.
Getting it.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. What a comeback from Cartoon. I can't say I was expecting it, especially after the
and
SSL
Jim missing that throw. Cartoon literally getting some of the best throws you can possibly get. And once again, just barely out of a minute of his PB. Very, very solid from Cartoon here. And VonJim struggling just a little bit with throws, but at this point, I don't think there should be any nerves. Just focus on closing out the run here.
Yeah, I really can't say I was expecting Cartoon to win the second game here, especially after the SSL incidents. And Jim had like such a big lead going into HMC,
Yep.
but just a couple
And Jim
BLJs
just
and it failed.
can't seem to hit a throw here.
Come on, Jim, you can do this. Let's get some hype in the chat for Jim.
Come on, Jim. There we go. There you go. Got the throw. I believe this is his last throw here. Missing it.
Yeah, this is the last throw. Come on. Come on, let's clutch this 18 here. Last throw. And he does get it.
Get it.
Let's go.
Nice.
Still gotta talk to Belgium.
Yep. Gets a
I
pretty
believe
far
that's gonna
away
be,
talking though, so.
Low, I mean, high 18.
Yep. Honestly, when I said that everything can go wrong, I was not talking about missing multiple throws, to be fair. I was talking about missing 1 or 2 throws and missing left side once. I did not take into account that throws can really get messed up if you miss one. You miss one, it's a domino effect at that point.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, GG's exciting races, and we do have VonJim and Cartoon in the commentary booth. So welcome, guys. GG's.
Yo, thank you.
So I think I gotta start off here with Cartoon. How'd you feel about your 2 runs that you have showed us today?
Not very good. The first race obviously was better than the second. The second one I melted down in Womps and Shifting Sandland, but oh my god, the ending of that second one. I think if I was using my splits, that probably would have been a gold for the BLJs, and then probably would have been close to a tied gold for Sky. That was insane.
Yeah, you had a very, very beautiful end game there coming out of Fire C. That is for sure. And the VonJim, I had pulled up your splits, and I noticed you were on PB pace for a while there. Did that play with your nerves at all in the final race?
No, I'll be quite frank. I've been running no LBLJ for the past week, and I've been playing incredibly well. Like, I PB'd 4 times in 4 days last week, and I've gotten my PB really down from what it was. And that's why I went for LBLJ today, because I'm really, really consistent. And in races, I think consistency is probably... I mean, if I was consistent the way I have been for the past week, I would have definitely won that second game, because LBLJ has that X factor that makes it a bit more difficult, that's more prone to meltdowns, right? But the first round, I was incredibly stressed. My first OWL-less attempt, I was shaking so bad that when I hit the last jump, I hit B by mistake, and I dove into into the wall of the cage.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I was just like, I just wanted to pull my hair, and then I'm like, try again, doesn't work. I go, okay, reset, go do something else and try again. Then I felt like as that race went on, it went a little bit better. The second one though, my nerves were like a lot more calm, and
okay.
I was doing pretty well until Fire C, and then it just started going to crap there.
Yeah, well, you played phenomenal in your second race. You had a 40-second lead going in, going up to BLJs, I believe. So. Yeah,
I was 16 BPT up to, if I'm not mistaken, up to Fire C. So that was definitely a decent run.
Yeah, and both of you guys getting the 0 cycle in the end there with Cartoon, getting the pole glitch, and you, VonJim, getting a very solid beginning movement there. So that was a very nice Fire C from both of you, so you can take that away with this. And
the funny part is at the end, because I knew he was tailing me, and I saw, I quickly glanced and I saw he had good BLJs. I turn around, and as I'm about to decide, do I do triple jump wall kick or not? Then it was too late, and I turn around, and then I didn't know where I was anymore, and that's why I kind of had that little hiccup where I stopped, and then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? And that lost me a bunch of time. I should have just, honestly, it's my first race ever, at least my first serious race, and I should have just focused with playing my game instead of focusing on Cartoon's game.
Yeah, I think something you should take away is when you missed that left side. And you did the side flip backwards, you should have carried out the left side, because I think that hurt you more than going for the safe strat there.
Yeah,
just because of
probably.
how close you guys were. Like I was saying, I'm like, yo, VonJim needed to hit that left side. Like even if you messed up once and you went for it again, it still would have been super, super close.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think my judgment was a little bit altered there because I was so stressed. It's hard to make quick
Oh,
decisions.
Absolutely, and especially if this is your first like big tournament or first tournament race, obviously nerves play a massive factor, and if you have the lead, nerves can kind of kick in a little bit more there.
Yeah, I came in just wanting to not embarrass myself. I did a little bit, but it wasn't too bad, so I'm happy. GG's,
If you feel like you embarrassed yourself, you definitely backed it up with some pretty solid comeback there with definitely that zero cycle. I always love seeing zero cycle regardless of how it's done, so definitely brought that back. But yeah, Cartoon, how are you feeling after winning this race?
I need to practice a lot because my next opponent is probably going to be way better. Like not I didn't mean that to be
I get it.
offensive. I just mean better PB. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's gonna be tough. Everyone here's tough. So it's like I played so bad in practice, like because I started practicing like 2 hours before this race. I played so bad in Womps and Shifting Sandland, and I was like, if I can hold it together there in the races, I'm gonna do fine. And that second race showed me that I will probably not beat anyone else if I play that bad in those 2 stages. So I need to practice a ton.
Well, you'll either be going up against a Benny the Great or Oxel. So I don't know either of those runners, so I can't make a comment.
I don't either. I'm pretty new to this community. Like I've been running ROM hacks for like 7 years, but I've been running 16 star for like 3 weeks, so I'm still learning a lot.
You've only been running for 3 weeks?
Yeah, well, I had run this in the past, like 4 or 5 years ago. I had like a mid 16 on emulator, but I had never run 16 on N64 until like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Pretty solid. Do you feel like ROM hacks kind of transferred over here, though?
To an extent. I mean, I feel like I have the like physical capability down. It's just learning like the specific tricks in this game and getting the muscle memory for that is what I need, and that's just gonna take time.
Oh, absolutely. I can definitely tell your movement was pretty crisp, though, and I definitely know that comes from ROM hacks.
Just when it was on, it looked good, and when it was off, it was like, who's this guy, and why doesn't he have an 18 or a 19?
Yeah, I think your main points of focus definitely that pillarless.
Yeah, I was in between whether I wanted to go for Tama Plus or just the regular one, because both were going terribly in practice, and I was like, well, I've been doing more Tama in practice lately, but in practice before this race, I could not hit it. I was like 1 in 10, so I couldn't make up my mind, and maybe that's what did me in there.
Yeah, well, you did attempt both, and that Tama Plus looked phenomenal, and then you ground pounded right into the center of the quicksand.
Yeah, I was just a bit too far to the left, otherwise it would have been just great.
Oh, yeah. But no, phenomenal from both of these racers here. I do believe we have a race coming up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so if you guys want to stick around for the next 40 or so minutes and watch that, sure, it'll be a great race. I actually don't remember who's racing. Let me take a quick look here. We got Falling Tacos versus Cheesy Leech.